Hey guys, so as I said, I wanted to make an LF/Ultra tier list video, and obviously the 4th anniversary is almost here, so uh, I'm gonna do a tier list just before the anniversary. I'm pretty sure that the anniversary units will make a huge impact, at least that's what I expect. So we have Z plus Z, S plus S, A and B tiers. Z plus is obviously the peak. These Z plus units are obviously the best units in the game, hands down. B is like, that's like unusable. So if a unit is in B tier, that means that unit is kinda unusable. Like you're not gonna be very successful with that unit. So let's start off with Cell, Z tier. After the plat, Cell is a monster. Even before the plat, I think he was decent. I didn't really have a problem with him. It's just that when he came out, people heavily overrated him for some reason. And when they realized that he wasn't actually that good, everyone started to talk shit. And obviously, the other thing is that Cell came out before the Legends Festival. Obviously, Legends Festival, we had a pretty huge power creep. Obviously, Goku and Vegeta, Sword of Hope, Ultra Gojita, huge power creep. But still, I don't think Sal was like a bad unit or anything like that. But after the plat, he's really good. Like he's fantastic. Although I see people overrate him now as well. Like it's kind of interesting because Sal, I feel like he went from overrated to underrated to overrated again. And yes, he's really good, but I've seen people putting him above the androids and things like that. So I definitely disagree with that. Uh, it's just I feel like a lot of people rate him post gauge and they don't really think about Sal before the gauge. And yes, it's much easier to get his gauge, but I mean it's still not free or anything like that. You still have to work for it, and sometimes it's not easy. It's still not easy sometimes. It's much easier, yes, sure, but uh, still, Cell is really good. It's definitely Z tier, one of the best units in the game. Vegito Blue, A tier. Honestly, yeah, he's A tier. No, he's not S tier. Um, honestly, the biggest problem with this guy is that he has buffs. He gets buffs depending on what type of a unit you face. If you face a blast based unit, this guy gets blast attack. Now the problem is with that is obviously he's a melee type unit. He wants to do strikes. He does much more strike damage, and that's not good. Like when he gets blast attack, that doesn't really do anything. So this guy, if you VB is actually decent. If you face, let's say, a Super Saiyan team, Super Saiyan Bardock, Super Gojita, Super Vegito, obviously every single unit on that team is melee type, so he's gonna get strike buffs. He's actually pretty decent against a team like that, but against like LOE, where everyone is like blast based, support type or something like that, he's not gonna get his strike buffs and he's just not gonna do too much damage. Gohan, I'm gonna go and put him in S plus. I mean, I feel like Gohan can still do his job very well. Like, yeah, he's not the best unit anymore, but I mean, his stats are crazy. His damage buffs. He's a build-up unit. So yeah, he's a little bit slow, especially in the beginning, but he builds up. Then he does crazy damage, crazy last man standing. So I think he deserves this spot. Um, Foo Power Jiren, I'm gonna put him in S plus. I don't know if he deserves C. I'm gonna put him in S plus for now. I can see him go up. Obviously, MUI Goku is coming, so I can see him move up. But for now, I'm gonna go with S plus, especially because the androids came out, and as you know, they nullify endurance. So that's a big weakness because the androids, obviously, this Jiren wants to get rushed, but the androids they just kill him. So I think S plus is good for now. LF Frieza, is he better than Cell? I think Cell is better, but I think he's very close. Blast armor. He also has support. He gets his vanish back with his main. AoE blue card, Blast Armor. I don't know if I said that before, but he has Blast Armor, which is really nice. So yeah, overall, Full Power Frieza definitely Z tier. I think Cell is better because when he gets his gauge, like Cell can go pretty nuts. Like he can just solo teams. Full Power Frieza can't really do that. He does decent damage, but I wouldn't say he's definitely not on the level as Cell. So yeah, I would put Cell above Frieza, but he's close. S tier, Bardock. I think he's decent. He has some flaws. He's slow. He needs a dead ally. He also gets endurance after someone dies on your team, which is, I think, just that's a bad design. I don't know what were they thinking with that. But otherwise, like, he's still decent. At his peak, this guy is still he's a good unit. Like, you can say whatever you want, but at his peak, and once again, yes, he's slow, I know. But at his peak, this guy is actually very decent. Like, he has good damage. He has good damage. Once again, at his peak, yes, in the beginning, not really, but I'm talking about peak Bardock. Like, peak Bardock, I think he could be here. But just because he's slow, I'm not gonna put him there for sure. But his green cards becomes really good. He gets endurance. He becomes type neutral, at least defensively. Once again, his damage output is not bad at all. He has like 160% or something. He also gets double card draw speed, and he can lock in the enemy when the enemy attack is over, which means if they tap him, if they tap blast him, like, he gets that. He gets that buff, which in my opinion is really, really, really good. So I think S tier is good. I think he's a little bit underrated and a little bit overhated. He's not. Once again, he has some flaws, but I don't think he's as bad as some people think he is. Gojita, yeah, I think he's I think he's gonna be there. I know a lot of people think that he fell off a little, and this might be controversial, but I feel like Gojita has so much going for him. Keep in mind, my Gojita is 14 stars. So, I mean, I'm talking about my Gojita. If your Gojita is 2 stars, sure. If you don't have the plat, okay. My Gojita is 14 stars, Z plus plat, triple red slot. I think this guy is absolutely just amazing. He does so much. The utility is so crazy. Blast Armor, type neutral defensively, the 80% cut. The main ability is absolutely ridiculous. The green card is ridiculous. The blue card, the anti-revival is actually crazy. He's gonna age so well just because of that. Yeah, I feel like he's actually there. I feel like some people underrate him. The only problem with him, I would say, is that he can be a little bit underwhelming if you use up everything. Like, let's say you're in a 1v2 situation, 1v3, and if you don't have your main, Gogeta is going to struggle, like, for sure. Other than that, though, I think he's just absolutely crazy. He can eat a rush, and yes, my Gogeta, once again, 14 stars, yes, I know. My Gogeta can eat a rush almost from any unit in the game. Like, almost. Like, if you just rush him and you have your 80, and if I have the 80% cut, he can live a rush. Once again, almost from any unit in the game. Because keep in mind, he goes type neutral defensively. I feel like people just don't. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I feel like a lot of people just don't use him correctly. I see a lot of people just absolutely wasting his cut. They just start off with him and they lose his 80% cut in like 2 seconds. Also, the main ability. His main ability is so good that you have to use it right. You have to use it smart. You can't just waste it. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna do 60% damage to this unit. Like, no. You have to use it correctly, and you have to be smart. Because if you use it correctly, if you use his main correctly, keep in mind he goes type neutral, he gets card draw speed, he gets his ultimate. He does so much with his main, and he gets so strong that you can win the game just with his main ability. But in order to do that, you have to use it smart. So keep that in mind. I think he deserves this spot. I can understand why, like, Okay, I think Gojita belongs here, but I can see why people say like Cell is better, like whatever. This is my tier list. I feel like Gojita deserves this spot. You can debate me if you want, like sure. You can disagree. Future Gohan, I think he deserves it. I don't think I have to go in too much like support, endurance. He's also a little bit slow, but once again, his support is so good. His cover change is so good. He also goes like neutral when you lose units. He's overall just a very solid unit. It's just like you need time if you want. He's not gonna do too much damage in the beginning. He's also pretty squishy in the beginning, but he gets cut. I believe he gets like 60% cut or something like that. So he can be actually very tanky, and his stats are really good as well. So I think he definitely deserves Z tier. I think he's easily the best staging unit in the game. Majin Vegeta, I think he's better than VB just because he's more consistent, and I've used him not too long ago, and I was pretty impressed. His damage is pretty good when he transforms. His stats are still pretty good. His main ability is really, really good. His blue card hits hard. His green card is really good. Like overall, I think he deserves this spot. He was actually very impressive when I used him. Ultra Goku. Um, I think I'm gonna put him here because once again, VB is just so inconsistent. And if you're not fighting melee type units, this guy is not doing damage. It's just, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you have to fight melee type units. So just because of that, I'm gonna put Ultra Goku here. I think, is he better than Majin Vegeta? Like I can see an argument, but for now I'm gonna put him here. With his plat, I think he's actually decent. It's just he has some flaws. I think also like he doesn't have best armor. His green card doesn't give him key. Like he has some, like he feels like a free to play unit. Like let's be honest, but damage output is actually decent. Other than that, he doesn't really do too much though. So I think this is fine. Piccolo, um, Piccolo, I think he's S plus. I'm gonna go with S plus. Is he better than Gohan? I don't know. I don't think so. But I think Piccolo is actually really good. Like every time I use him, and I haven't used him in a while, but every time I use him, I'm actually quite impressed. Like he does a lot. He has good utility. He gets his vanish back with his main. He gets the second main gives him a green card. It gives him a blue card. His blue card hits hard. He does good damage. Like yeah, he's a little bit slow, but other than that, he's just overall a very solid unit. And he aged really well, in my opinion. It's just that his teams are not the best. Like, where are you gonna run this guy? Kid Buu. Is Kid Buu better than Bardock? Now the problem is, Kid Buu has his green card, which is busted. Not just because of the vanish. Yes, he gets 60% back. Yes. He also gets card draw speed, and you can stack card draw speed. Keep that in mind. And he also gets key every 4 timer counts. This guy, when you pop 2 greens, this guy just goes on, and he just does like 10 cards, and he does good damage. So, but he's so squishy. Like if you catch him, if I catch a Kid Buu with my Gojita's blue card, he's pretty much he just dies. So is he better than Bardock though? I mean, Bardock is definitely slower, but Bardock he pretty much has Kid Buu's green card when you lose one of your units. Like overall, I feel like Bardock has just more going for him. Kid Buu can look very dangerous, but Kid Buu can also just die if you do one mistake. So I think overall, I'm gonna give the edge to Bardock, especially in late games. Like in late games, I think it's not even close. I think Bardock destroys Kid Buu, but early games, like you get like 2 green cards, and this guy just he's a monster. But once again, you can't make a mistake because he dies. Revival Gohan. I'm gonna put him here, I think. Unfortunately for this guy, Gojita is here, Alaf Sal is here, and they can definitely Um, yeah, they can shut down Gohan. Unfortunately for him, like when Gojita gets his first life, like at that point, GG, pretty much. Like not only he gets 4 Dragon Balls, he also heals and he gets 50% damage. Like yeah, like that's not looking good. So that's definitely a big weakness. Um, and other than that, like Gohan, I think he's pretty impressive after he transforms. Although he's very squishy, but he's pretty impressive damage wise. Um, Before he transforms, though, he doesn't really do too much. His support is nice for sure. Uh, he gets he supports the team with his main before he transforms. But other than that, like he doesn't really do too much. Like he doesn't do too much damage, and yeah, like he's not too impressive before he transforms. After he transforms, though, he's still a monster, especially like damage. Like he does a ton of damage. Uh, he does a ton of damage still. So I think he deserves this spot, but I wouldn't move him higher just because like these two, and once again before he transforms, he's just not too impressive. Gogeta Blue, once again like Kid Buu, like yeah, he can you can die very quickly if you make mistakes, but Kid Buu can also solo team still. Like if you do everything right and you don't get unlucky, like Kid Buu, like once again, if you have like 1 or 2 green cards in your hand, Kid Buu can do some very insane damage. And he can do some work, like for sure. Like I would say Gogeta is more consistent, but if you're a good player and if you know what you're doing with Kid Buu, I think Kid Buu can win you the match. I wouldn't say about Gogeta Blue. Like yeah, he's like all around like a very good unit. Like his damage, he's a little bit slow. But after he builds up his damage is decent. He's definitely much more tanky. Um his ultimate hits very very hard. So yeah, like overall I think he's good here. But I would give the edge to Kid Buu. Uh Bardock as well. I don't think Gogeta is better than Bardock. LFSG for Goku. Now, this guy, I think, is extremely underrated. He got his plat. I think he's decent. I think he's actually a very decent unit. I like his support. I like his cover change. I like his last man standing capabilities. I think he's overall just a very solid unit. Like, yes, he has some flaws as well. He needs a lot of build up, actually. But even without build up, he does decent damage. His green card is... let's not talk about the green card, but other than that, like his support, I like his support a lot. I think it's actually pretty good. And as a last man standing, this guy can do some work. So I'm gonna put him above Piccolo. Is he better than FSK? FSK has also he also supports, but he only gives blast attack. I think. Like see, Goku's support is definitely superior. I would say. I mean, last man standing, it's pretty hard to compete against. Like, who is the better last man standing unit? It's FSK. Let's be honest. I think this is fine. Goku below FSK. But yeah, I think he's actually really good. He's actually really good. Honestly, because once again, Revival Gohan, Gojita shuts him down, Cell shuts him down. Before he transforms, he doesn't really do too much. Yeah, I think I like this more. But the problem with FSK is that he also has cancelable buffs. So if you're up against Ultra Super Gojita, for example, he can just wipe your buffs with his green card, and there you go. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can do the same. Super Vegito can do the same. I'm pretty sure this guy though has uncancelable buffs. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he has uncancelable buffs. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this just because of Ultra Super Gogeta or Super Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Those guys can just shut him down, unfortunately. So and at that point, if you lose all your buffs, like FSK is not gonna 1v3, at least most likely. So yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Goten, I'm not a big Goten fan. I feel like he can do one thing. He needs to be run on one team. Like he has one team. He doesn't even get his ultimate damage unless you're fighting with unless you're using 3 Super Saiyan Sun family units. So if you run this guy FSK, you're not even getting your ultimate damage with Goten. Like I just don't like him. He has like, I don't even know, like 75% best damage and that's it. Like I'm just not a big fan of this guy. Honestly, I just don't like this guy. The only thing that makes him kind of relevant is like the support for Gohan. That I can't deny that. Like his support is definitely very impressive. Honestly, I might do this, and Goten can stay in S tier because once again his support is good. Like his support, but honestly, I was so impressed with Majin Vegeta when I used him. I think he's better than Goten. Like if we are comparing the two units, I think Majin Vegeta wins. Yeah, I understand. Oh, but the support, like sure, but yeah, I'm gonna go with this. And honestly, I don't have a problem. Like once again, Majin Vegeta, I feel like he deserved it. Like he's impressive. Like he considering how long he came out, yeah, like he's really good. LF Vegeta, I think I'm gonna put him above Frieza. Yeah, Vegeta is just a monster. Like his support, his damage, he starts slow, but he builds up pretty quickly. Honestly, his ultimate is ridiculous. His main ability is ridiculous. He's tanky as hell. Uh, he he can eat rushes. Like he can actually eat a rush. He has 60% cut, very good stats, and he also goes type neutral for like 3 timer counts or something. So yeah, overall this guy is just a monster. Like yeah, Frieza is really good overall, but Vegeta when Vegeta gets going, GG. Ape Vegeta. I think Ape Vegeta is actually not as bad as a lot of people think he is. I haven't used him in a while, but I wasn't. I mean, when I used him, I didn't really have a big problem with him. Very good green card, endurance, very good blue card. He's slow, for sure. But other than that, like honestly, he has pretty good utility. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people say he is. I think he's better than Goten, honestly. Once again, I don't think Goten is a good unit. I'm gonna be completely honest. Support, sure. Other than that, I'm not a big fan. And I think I'm gonna put him above Majin Vegeta just because the overall utility. Like, yeah, Majin Vegeta can still do good damage. But other than that, like, I feel like this guy has more utility for sure. When you land the blue, he shortens his sub count by 5. Once again, the endurance. He does more damage against blue units, and yeah, it's not like a big damage dealer. His ultimate hits pretty hard, honestly. Like I feel like the utility alone makes this guy more valuable than Majin Vegeta. I would say I would be more comfortable with this guy than Majin Vegeta. And yes, they are not the same color, but sure. I think this is fair. Once again, I don't think this guy is as bad as a lot of people say he is. Is he better than Gojita Blue? Probably not. UI Goku, yes, I'm not gonna put him in B tier. I think UI Goku, although he's not great, and he fell off, and he's squishy and all that stuff, he still has a pretty decent kit. When he builds up, he still does pretty decent damage. I love his unique gauge. I love the auto dodge. I think if you know what you're doing with it, I think that's absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan. His blue card is good. His green card is really good. His main ability cancels buffs. His ultimate hits pretty hard still. He has the cover change. I don't think he's like unusable. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. So I don't think he's like B tier. I think he's usable. I think he's usable, especially if you know what you're doing. Like yeah, sure, if you do stupid stuff with this guy, he's just gonna die. But other than that, I think if you use him correctly, he can be usable. Like I think he's usable. It's not great. I wouldn't grind with him or anything. Like I wouldn't use him in top 100 PvP. But I mean, for fun, I think he's usable. I wouldn't say he's like completely unusable. Androids Z plus. I think this unit is easily the best stuff in the game. And I'm saying this as a massive Super Saiyan 4 Gojita fanboy. I think this unit is just, they are too much. The green cards are broken. The tag mechanic is broken. The damage output, the support. They also have cover change, blast cover change. Just overall, this unit is just so busted. I'm not gonna go in like I'm not gonna talk about them too much. I think everyone knows at this point how good this unit is. Like the long combos, like everything. It's so annoying, so busted, so broken. Definitely Z+. I think they deserve Z+. I think, and once again, I think they are the best left easily at this point. Zamasu, I think S+. I think Zamasu aged very well. His damage output is still great. His green card is awesome. His damage output is not bad at all, especially against Saiyans. I think he's just overall a great unit. I would put him. I think he's fine. I think he's fine here. And even like defensively, like a lot of people, I think don't realize that. Yeah, he's not the tankiest unit, but he builds up damage cut and he just keeps healing. So he's actually pretty durable. He takes a lot of damage for sure, but I mean, once again, like the healing and all that stuff, like he's not paper. Like he's not gonna just die. And even if you take a lot of damage, he has it back. Like he gets all his HP back. So he also nullifies endurance with his main. So overall, I think Zamasu is just very solid unit still. Goku. Once again, I feel like this unit is kind of overrated. Or, not overrated, underrated, and kind of overhated. I don't think he's like absolute garbage. I don't think so. Yes, he's a little bit slow. Yes, he fell off. All that shit. I understand that, but I think he's better than Gotham. I think he's better than Majin Vegeta. I think I'm gonna put him here, honestly. I wouldn't say he's like S+, but I think this is fine. I think this is fine because once again, yeah, he's slow, but on the other hand, he gets card draw speed. He builds up his ultimate damage, which can hit pretty hard. He goes type neutral. He has an amazing green card. He has the cover change. I don't think he's like a bad unit. I think he fell off, yes, but I don't think he's unusable. I don't think he's trash. He's not as dominant as he was, but I think he's still pretty decent. And he can look pretty good still. So I would say S is fine. Bardock is maybe better. So I would probably go with Bardock. Because once again, this guy is also slow. So I think Bardock has the edge. But Kid Buu, once again, Kid Buu, the problem with Kid Buu is that he just dies. Like, you can make mistakes. This guy is actually pretty tanky. His stats are amazing. So that's one good point about him. Once again, like, he's not like complete garbage. He's pretty tanky. He can do good damage in late game, especially. So yeah, I think he deserves this spot. I don't think he's any lower than this. Beerus, yeah, unfortunately Beerus is just too old. He's outdated. He's literally one of the first 3 Zenkais. It was Beerus, it was Blue Broly and Red Goku, and this guy is one of the first 3 Zenkais. His kit is outdated. He doesn't really do too much damage anymore. He doesn't get ki like anywhere. He doesn't get ki when he enters the battlefield. He doesn't get ki from his main ability. Just overall outdated. Even his support is nothing crazy. He's outdated. It is what it is. Beerus is just not really usable anymore. Goku and Goku, I think he's easily the best unit in the game. When he first came out, there was a debate, him or Ultra Gojita. I think this guy honestly shits on Ultra Gojita. Yes, Ultra Gojita, I understand, he's great, blah blah blah. I think this guy is just too much. The card draw speed, and then he enters with card draw speed, then he gets when he vanishes he gets card draw speed again. if you get a PV, that's double card draw speed. The gauge, when the gauge is full, he gets a green card, which gives him damage, key, and a new card, the strike lock. This guy is just the most annoying unit to fight against, and on top of that, everything he does is just so busted. The strike lock, yes, it's very annoying, but it's also busted. The PV, yes, it's annoying when he does 15 cards, but that's also just busted, just straight up busted. This guy is too much. This guy is too much. And then when you pop the main, guess what happens? He ignores cover changes. So now you can't even do anything. You can just put your phone down and watch this guy going crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't know what were they thinking. I think this is too much. This is way too much. When VB came out, I mean, is Kaioken as bad when Prime VB? I don't know. I think he's more annoying, honestly. Obviously, the VB meta was almost 2 years ago, but sure. I don't know. This guy is just. I think it's just too much. And yes, I think he's just easily the best unit in the game. Uta Gojita, I think he deserves C+. And yes, the androids. I'm gonna put the androids above Uta Gojita. The reason for that, Uta Gojita has one team at the moment. I think fusions. Other than that, like movies, I guess it's okay. But the androids, I mean, LOE. Yes, you can just put them on the leader slot, and believe me, androids with the LOE team, yeah, that team is pretty crazy. I would argue that's the best team in the game. The future team, Cell, future Gohan, plus all these Zenkai units, yeah, like I think for now, at least because of the teams, they deserve to be above Gojita. But other than that, Gojita, I think he deserves Z+. I think he's just he can still be so oppressive and overwhelming. The green card is busted. The blue card is busted. He has the luck. He goes type neutral. Like, this guy is just too much. Like, the gauge gives him a blue card, destroys your hand. Like, he's too much, I think, in some scenarios for sure. And I think he deserves C+ for sure. Evolution Blue Vegeta. I think he deserves S+. Is he better than Zamasu? I think so, honestly. I think so. Is he better than Piccolo? I mean, he can look better than pretty much. I'm not gonna say any unit, but when Evolution Blue Vegeta gets going, he looks pretty nasty. And he can do some pretty insane damage. And obviously he has this key mechanic when he can just pretty much he has infinite key. If you use cards below like, I don't know, like 35 key or something, like, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty broken, and he stacks. He also stacks with that. Not just gains key, he stacks. So I think I'm gonna put him above Piccolo. Yeah, I think this is fine. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with this, but I think I'm gonna go with this. I still think this unit is pretty good still. It's just like, yeah, this guy came out and just replaced him on everywhere pretty much. Yes, Goku and Vegeta, I think Z tier. Yeah, they fell off, sure. They fell off, like they are not the best unit, they are not top 3, but other than that, I feel like the utility is still crazy. The damage output can still be pretty good. Once again, the utility, I think that's the main point. Like, they do so much. Goku restores his vanish, plus he debuffs the opponent. Vegeta, the green card, once again, is really good. He ignores color changes with it. Obviously, both of them get a blue card when they do use a green card first. The switch mechanic is, the tag mechanic is, in my opinion, it's busted, kind of. The fact that you can just switch elements is I think it's pretty nasty. And not only that, when every time you do that, they get card draw speed, they get special move damage. I think they are just overall still really good. It's just, I think this guy is actually or this unit is actually a high skill cap unit. I would argue that because you actually have to be smart with them. 1v3, this unit is definitely up there. One of the best 1v3 units in the game, easily. So yeah, I think a few people are underrating him for sure. Like, yeah, they fell off. Yes, I agree. Like, I'm not gonna put him here. But other than that, like, they are still amazing. So yeah, I don't really get where this, like, oh my god, they are so bad now. Like, no. Are they better than future Gohan? Hard to tell, because it's like future Gohan is just consistent. He's just so consistent. Once again, this is their biggest weakness. You have to play smart. And once again, you do like one or two mistakes against like Green Green Yellow Gatki. This unit gets destroyed. So you have to play smart. On the other hand, future Gohan, oh, they are comboing. Okay, I'm gonna cover. Destroy 2 cards. Hopefully, catch them with a blast. Like, and then after that, I support the whole team. So I feel like future Gohan is just more consistent. But other than that, I believe this unit still belongs in Z tier. Frieza, Frieza. Frieza, I love Frieza. Zenkai L Frieza is really good. Aloy obviously is crazy good. And this guy actually does a lot. Very good support. He holds a blue card. His damage output is not the craziest, but he's decently tanky. His green card is really good. He actually does pretty good damage against Saiyans, I think. I think he has specifically buffs against Saiyans. His ultimate hits pretty hard. Overall, he's just very decent. I think I'm gonna put him here. Is he better than FS? I'm gonna put him here. I think this is fair. I can honestly see an argument for this. Yeah, I'm gonna put him above Revival Gohan because Aloy is just so busted, and once again Revival Gohan, these two guys are there, and honestly, Evolution Blue Vegeta can actually deal with Revival Gohan very easily, and he gets some very nasty buffs when he gets rid of Revival units first life. I'm gonna put him here just because, like, I think overall he's just a really good unit, and once again Aloy is just busted. So I think this is fair. Now this is an unfortunate unit, although he's actually pretty decent and he can do some really good damage. He also has a very good green card, which I like. He's better than Uta Goku. But the problem is his ultra ability. You can only run him on one team, and that's Frieza Saga, which is just not good. Like, that is just bad. Broly, I love Broly. Other than that, like, this guy is great. Like, once again, he's a good unit, but his team, you can only run him on Frieza Saga, which is just, that's terrible. So yeah, I love Broly. I think I'm not gonna put him in A tier. I think he's just too, when he gets going, like, he can still do some stuff, but I mean, the key is an issue. Obviously his damage falling off. I think other than that, like, I'm gonna put him, is he better than VB? I mean, he can be better than VB for sure. And I mean, VP is also inconsistent, so it's like, it's not just Broly, because Broly, I think he's just inconsistent. Like, yeah, there are some matchups and there are some matches where this guy is going to look still pretty good. Like, you get the feint, you get the green card, they switch in front of him. Like, yeah, he can still look pretty good, but I feel like he's just inconsistent. I think this is fine, because once again, at least this guy is like, he gets his damage, he doesn't do too much, he's not crazy, but I mean, he does what he does, and he pretty much does that all the time. These two are just not consistent, unfortunately. SV, yup, come at me, come at me. I don't care. SV, he deserves Z tier. Not gonna put him. Yeah, SV is the best fit. No, Z tier. I'm gonna go with this low Z tier. I feel like this guy he gets so much shit for no reason. He is a little bit slow. I understand that. He's a build-up unit. But I mean, if we are always gonna talk about how he's slow, he needs build-up, why aren't we talking about, okay, that's his weakness, but what about VB, not VB, SV, Super Vegito, what about him at his best? Oh yeah, he's absolutely amazing. He's a monster, he's a beast, like, SV. And by the way, you don't need that much build-up, because keep in mind, this guy enters with 70%, which is not a lot. But he also draws a card when you have 3 or less cards, which means he immediately gets a guaranteed buff. He also has card draw speed, so he's gonna draw more cards, and obviously those cards are gonna buff him. If you have 2 cards, when he enters the battlefield, he can potentially draw 2 cards immediately, like just like that, 2 buffs immediately. Okay, so that's one thing. Other thing, his support. Every time the enemy uses a card, 10% damage for the whole team. When this guy eats a combo, like a full combo, like 4 to 6 cards, that's 40 to 60% damage to your whole team. And obviously he also gets that. At that point, like let's say 6 cards, 60%. Oh, so he enters with 70%. Plus 60%, that's 130%, which is already pretty good considering this is Zenkai and he has very good stats. But not only that, once again, the cards he draws. This guy can actually build up pretty quickly, and he can get out of hand actually pretty quickly. And people don't even realize it, I feel like a lot of the times. Main ability. Oh yeah, his main ability is literally the best main ability in the game. Like, I don't know, like, you can argue that. I'm not gonna go into that because I'm not sure for now. Like right now, I'm not sure if his main ability is actually the best, but it's up there. Like, it's up there. He gets card draw speed. He gets, for like 30 timer counts, he gets damage. He gets his ultimate. He cancels buffs. Like, it's so crazy. His main is so crazy. And once again, he gets card draw speed, which means he gets double card draw speed when he pops the main ability. If anyone thinks that this guy is bad, please open your app, open Dragon Ball Legends, click on this card, click on this character, and go through his kit. Go through his kit, read his kit, try to understand his kit, try to understand how he works. And then, if you still think he's bad, I don't know what to say. Now, obviously, just because on paper he looks good, that doesn't mean he's great. Sure. But in my opinion, if you use him correctly, if you use him smartly, and you don't just, oh, I'm gonna switch him in, and oh, by the way, I have a full hand, so you already wasted the one card he gets guaranteed, obviously, and that's a guaranteed buff. You already wasted that. Then you just pop his main, because why not? Let's just pop his main. Although his main ability is, once again, it's like a top 3 main ability. It's so good, it's so valuable, and you just pop it because, oh, I'm just gonna pop it and hopefully they tackle or something. Like, no. You pop his main when you know it's the right time. At least that's what, like, always sometimes I use the main and it's a waste. Like, yes, it happens. Like, everyone makes mistakes. But once again, when the main ability is as good as Super Vegito's, you don't just use it. You don't just use it in any random scenario. No, you try to use it when it's actually the right time. Because if you use it in the right time, that main ability alone can win you the game. Same goes for Super Saiyan 4 Gojita, by the way. that main ability can win you the game. So once again, try to read his kit, try to understand what you read, and try to use him correctly. And I guarantee you, this guy gonna look good. He's not a bad unit at all. I don't think he's mid. The only reason why he's this low in Z tier is because he's slow. I understand that. Like, yes, he is slow. He needs build up. And you definitely have to use like, you definitely need to do like at least one combo with him, and the second combo is when he starting to do really good damage. So once again, he's slow, I know, but once again, I just think he gets way too much hate for no reason. I think he's absolutely amazing, and I think my biggest argument is actually is that people just don't know what they are doing. I'm gonna be completely honest, and I don't want to offend anyone, but most people who play this game just don't know what they are doing. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, yeah, we have units like this and this guy, and oh my god, like, oh, SV is so bad. Like, no, these guys just brain dead. You don't need any skill. You enter the battlefield, or they enter the battlefield, and you don't have to think. You get a PV with this guy, and you have double card draw speed immediately, and there you go, brain dead unit. Like, I understand that, but not every unit is built like this guy, or even this guy, or this unit. There are units that not gonna win you the match for free. You actually have to play well, actually use them smartly, and you actually have to think. And I feel like a lot of Dragon Ball Legends players just don't do that. They just don't give a shit. And that's why I think a lot of people are just shitting on this guy. I don't think he deserves it. I think he's way better than a lot of people realize. Sword of Hope, is he better than SV? I mean, post gauge, Trunks is pretty good. I would say, like, he's pretty amazing, very good damage output. He's pretty tanky as well. He has endurance, although he's very limited because you can only run him with Vegeta clan units or future units. You can't run him on hybrids. Like, if you run Trunks with this guy, he doesn't have endurance. Like, I think that's just a huge flaw. But other than that, if you run him on the right team, like, he's pretty decent, I would say. I mean, once again, like, yeah, Super Vegito is slow, but Trunks is slow as well. Like, you need, before Gauge, he's not that impressive, but he's also a very good comeback unit. I don't know. Is Super Vegito better than Trunks? I mean, the support, and he's not limited. I'm gonna go with this. I don't have a problem with this, but I'm gonna go with this. Let's go with this. I think this is fine. Ultra Omega. I think this is a good place for him. Ultra Omega. He's really good. And I would say he's the only free-to-play Ultra that's actually really good. Yeah, Goku is decent with his plat. Vegeta is pretty good, but he has one team. Ultra Omega is, and that's Frieza Saga, by the way. Yeah. Just saying, like, this guy, yeah, he has one team as well, but it's GT. It's much better than Frieza Saga. He's very tanky. His damage output is actually not that bad, especially after the build up. The debuffs, the healing, the tankiness, like, he's such a tanky unit as well. Great stats, plus like 70% cut or something. He can feint, he can paralyze. He's just overall a really, really good unit. And he also has support. I'm pretty sure his ultra ability gives support to the team. So it's overall a very good unit, I would say. He gets card draw speed also when his HP is 50% below. By the way, when he falls below 50%, he also heals a lot. So overall, this guy is just really good. I think this is fine. I'm gonna put him here. I think this is a good placement for him. Rose. I love Rose. I'm gonna put him here. Yeah, unfortunately, he has some good stuff in his kit. His blue card is really good. He has a pretty good green card as well. He has the extreme bleed. He can destroy Dragon Balls, although it's only 15% chance. But I mean, if you get lucky, there you go. He can nullify endurance every time, always. It's just that his damage output is not really the best. Plus, when you start killing your opponent's units, he actually loses damage, although his ultimate gets stronger. So keep that in mind. Yes, he loses damage, but his ultimate gets stronger. Um, Other than that, he can look pretty underwhelming. Like, I think this guy with support, with a few Zenkai buffs, because of he actually has some very good stuff in his kit, he can look pretty good. But other than that, on his own, I wouldn't say he's too impressive. He gets a strike when he faces an enemy, but like he doesn't get key, which is definitely an issue. So I would say he's here. Like I think VB is better. And once again, he has some really good stuff in his kit, but it's nothing crazy. I would say like he can look very underwhelming. Goku. And he's the last unit. I'm a big Namagoku fan, in case you didn't know. I'm a huge Namagoku fan. I absolutely love this unit. I think he's great. I think he's underrated. I think he was very underrated on release. When he, not release, when he got his Zenkai. I think when he first got his Zenkai, he was easily Z tier. I remember the Game Press didn't even put him on Z tier. Once again, I think the main problem with this unit, high skill cap. This is a high skill cap unit. He's pretty slow. Obviously, it's a transforming unit. You have to transform with him, and even when he transforms, he gets his damage buffs after timer counts. Like he gets damage buff after 3 and 7 timer counts, and that resets. So he's slow for sure. And once again, he's a high skill cap unit. The blue card is obviously absolutely amazing, but it's not easy to land it. It's not easy to get the counter. You have to make some smart plays. I don't know. I feel like this is a very high skill cap unit, and I feel like a lot of people just not gonna be successful with this guy, unfortunately. But in my opinion, when a good player uses this guy, he's actually very scary and he can do some very good stuff. He's also a very strong last man standing unit. So yeah, I think he deserves S+, and honestly, I'm gonna put him above Evolution Blue Vegeta. I think this could be a little bit controversial, but once again, I think if you know what you're doing with this unit and you know how to use him correctly, I think this guy deserves this spot. I think he is really good. I think he can do some really good damage. I think he can 1v3. He's a very strong last man standing unit. And yes, he's slow. That's why I'm not putting him higher, but other than that, I feel like he's just great. I think he's great, honestly. Yeah, I think this is a good spot for him. Now, once again, I don't want to offend anyone, but unfortunately, if you're like not really like a technical player or not, I'm just gonna say if you're just an average player, you don't grind PvP so hard, like you don't play too much, like you play here and there, you play a few matches here and there, I would say this guy is just not for you. And honestly, then you could put him here maybe, like E tier maybe, like. But if you know what you're doing, you use him a lot, you know how he works, you know what to do you know how to land the blue card. I think this guy can definitely look very, very good still. And once again, very strong last man standing unit as well. So this is my LF/Ultra tier list. This is my opinion. You can agree, disagree. You can call me a moron if you want to. But this is my opinion. I'm gonna go with this. Let's just go through the units. Yup. Yup. Cell. Vegeta. I mean, I think these four, you can switch around them. Like I don't have a problem with this. Don't have a problem with this. This even. You can definitely like do some switches. Like even Cell. Like you think this guy is more oppressive, sure. But honestly, I think Cell is better than these three. For sure. But I think you can definitely do some like switching around. Like I don't have a problem with that. Goku and Vegeta, also Goku and Vegeta, I think you can do this maybe. I wouldn't have a problem with that either, but other than that, Goku and Vegeta Z tier, yeah, SV Z tier, yes, 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 Z tier, Z tier, Z tier, Z tier, SV, honestly, SV, yeah, Z tier. I don't care. Call me a stupid moron, I don't care. If you think Trunks is better than SV, I don't have a problem with that. Jiren, I mean, maybe you can do this, but for now, I'm gonna leave him here. Goku, Gohan, Ultra, Omega, Frieza. Yeah. Like, you can definitely do like some switching around for sure. Like, I don't have a problem with this, for example. If you think these guys should be higher than Ultra Omega, I don't have a problem with this. FSK, maybe. I said I don't have a problem with that either. Like, you can definitely do some switching around, but the tiers, I would say, like S plus, I think this is fine. I would say this is fine, and I would agree that Jiren is there. Like, but you can do some switching around other than that. But I'm gonna go with this S tier. Yeah, Bardock. I think Bardock deserves. I think the Bardock is fine there. SSJ3, I think he's also fine here. Maybe you could, maybe this, maybe, but other than that, I think this is okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. A tier, Goku, Broly. Yeah, maybe you can do this, but I think once again this is fine in my opinion. And B tier is Beerus. Unfortunately, once again, Beerus is just so outdated. His kit is so outdated. Doesn't really do anything, honestly. Like, with support, he can... Like, he has a very good green card, for example. And if you give him, like, a ton of support, sure. But on his own, like, no. Like, you need Vados, you need EXVs. You need those units, and then Beerus can look pretty decent, I would say. And you also give him like Zenkai buffs, and then sure. But other than that, like, he's just not really usable. So yeah, this is gonna be my tier list, LF/Ultra tier list. Once again, you can agree, disagree. This is what I think, more or less. I would say this is pretty good in my eyes. Once again, you can do some switching around, but other than that, like, I think this is fine. And I'm gonna go with this. So this is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Agree, disagree. Am I an idiot? Am I a moron? Let me know. So yeah, this is my tier list, LF/Ultra tier list. And also let me know what else you want me to make. So maybe I'm thinking about like a top 10 unit list. Maybe a team tier list or something like that, like, or a top 5 best teams. So let me guys know, and yeah, thanks for watching.